coming to you live with the Dynasty DNA Week 11 show. And we have some guests with us from the Dynasty Dogs podcast. We have Rich
What's
and
going
Mike.
on?
Hey, what's going on, guys?
So, like every other week, we're going to be breaking down each and every game coming out. And first on our docket here are the Browns and Steelers. Browns are -2 favorites. Over-unders at 32.5, which is low. I think it's the
Yeah.
lowest
Yeah,
over-under all this year so far. What do you guys think about this game?
So obviously, we got DTR starting for the Browns, and I believe the game opened at 4.5 when they believed Sean Watson was going to play, and it only dipped 2 points or 2.5 points. It's a little surprising to me. I don't know about you guys if that had only dipped that much with a rookie quarterback coming in.
yeah, that's weird. I took actually. I'm taking the Steelers money line. I think the Steelers win this one outright. Just with
Mhm.
the rookie quarterback starting, it's his first game against that defense. It's going to be rough.
Yeah, absolutely. And we saw like how well he performed in his first ever NFL start against Baltimore. Baltimore absolutely destroyed him. I think Baltimore is a better pass defense than what the Steelers are, but Steelers are no slouches, And it's AFC North game here, and it's always hard fought, always in the trenches. So I think it should be a good game to watch. Currently, 80% of the money is on the Steelers spread, and 67% of the cash is also on the Steelers money line, and 82 or yeah, I would say 82% is on the under on this game. So everyone's digging the under. Uh, you guys, a gun to the head, taking the under over here.
Probably the under. I'm
Yeah.
going to go with the under on this one.
I'm with you on that.
This feels like a very defensive game. Uh, I believe the Steelers, like Rich said, are going to win. They are they're not a great defense, but they make opportunities happen with interceptions, fumbles, stuff like that. So this is a tough environment for fourth or fifth round rookie.
And having to dodge T.J. Watt the whole game is going to be it's going to be no small task for him. So
Yeah,
And Alex
absolutely.
Highsmith, don't forget him.
Yeah.
Don't forget Alex Highsmith either.
Yeah. He's not
I know,
a lot, but
Yeah, I know you're a Ravens fan, so any shot you could take, you're gonna take it. I get it. We've
yeah,
been there.
I'm rooting on the Browns. Unfortunately, hope TJ's not watching, which he's out sick right now. But man, I'd rather play the Browns in the playoffs than the Steelers. That's for sure.
Oh, 100%.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So I'm rooting the Browns here. Probably won't win, but yeah, I think you guys are right. I mean, I think Steelers win this game outright, without the spread or anything. Mika Fitzpatrick is out, but Muth is back this week, so that might help
Yeah.
out the offense a little bit. Who knows? He hasn't really done much when he was on the
Right.
field so far this year. And what's up?
Yeah, my bad. I mean it's good for them because Muse has been a good target for Kenny Pickett in the past, but Washington's has been a pretty decent blocker for them too. I hope that doesn't really affect his being on the field because he's helped the offensive line a little bit.
Absolutely, and Steelers' offensive line has kind of always struggled so far, especially this season.
Mhm.
But so this is a new segment we're going to be doing a little bit here is our parlay section here. So we're each going to give it one pick, and we'll see if these parlays hit. Who wants to start first on this one?
What for the Steelers and Browns game?
Yep.
Okay, so yeah, I mentioned it earlier. I just took the money line at +110. I feel like that's good money. It's going to be a shootout, low scoring. I feel like, but +110 is good odds. I think I'm taking that.
Absolutely, I agree. What about you,
Yeah,
Mike?
especially with plus money, that's a good move. We're called the Dynasty Dogs for a reason, and you got to take the dude with the most dog in him in this game. I'm going to take George Pickens over 36.5. His
You love
receiving
him so
total.
much.
I know. It's been a little bit of a wild ride for Pickens recently, but he has had success against the Browns in his 3 games against them. He's averaged over 77 yards per game against them. So I'm going to ride with Pickens in this one.
Okay.
Absolutely. Saying I'm going with Jerome Ford over 58.5 rushing yards. Steelers have struggled against the run here, and I think that's how the Browns, their key to win the game is going to be on the ground here and try not let DTR throw it as much. So,
Okay.
I had that one down as a backup plan just in case, but I felt like somebody was going to have that. But yeah, that's a good one as well. I like that.
Yeah, and then I was listening to Part of My Take this morning, and in the last decade, this is the 55th time the Browns have started a backup quarterback.
Oh,
Jesus.
Yeah.
not us, huh?
No.
Not us.
Just when you think
Yeah,
it's
can't
bad,
relate
it's
to
Browns.
that, but so the next game on the docket here is Cardinals +6 against the Texans. Over-unders at 48.5, and this is at Houston. I was saying 79% of the cash is on the Cardinals spread, 71% of the cash is also on the money line, and 69% of the money is on the over. So I think most people kind of see the upset going here, and it's going to be kind of a shootout kind of game. What do you guys think?
Okay, Rick,
Go
I'll
ahead.
let you go again.
All right. I took Murray overpassing. You're at 234.5. That was at -114. I think he's just going to throw all over. He's coming back. He's got the brushing the dust off. I think he comes back, and I think he comes out slinging. Hopefully to Hollywood Brown, but yeah, I think over 234.5 is where I'm going.
Yeah,
Yeah, I like Hollywood Brown a lot. I have him in I put him as one of the dynasty buys in the episode last week. So I think he's a good target.
yeah, absolutely. I agree with that. I mean, Kyler Murray, he looked real good coming back from his ACL. He was running around a lot more than I expected.
Mhm.
Kind of sucks that they let Clayton Tune get that goal line sneak in there, but
that had to be frustrating for Kyler Murray owners to let
Mhm.
Clayton Tune come in there and do the tush push. But I like Houston in this game at the money line. I
Okay.
think Houston's been hot. I think
What are they at?
yeah.
-245. Okay.
Yeah, I mean it's not good money, but I feel pretty confident in that one. The
Yeah.
Arizona Cardinals defense hasn't been very good, and CJ Stroud has been red hot, so I'm going to go with that one. I mean it's a layup, but it's just sometimes you got to take the layups to
Yeah.
make sure Pickens goes over 36.5.
absolutely. And what do you guys think about CJ Stroud getting the MVP chance going on there? Do you think he's in the conversation for sure, or do you think it's still not his time yet?
I don't think
I
it's
mean,
his
he
time yet.
definitely. I don't think he's going to win it, but I think he deserves to be in the conversation with the way he's played. It's kind of hard to not, put him there with the way he's played.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and I was
He's
gonna say
definitely
I
going to
feel like he's a
win.
shoe-in for Rookie of the Year.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I was going to say.
Yeah, and for my pick this week, I think I'm gonna go with Nico Collins over 4.5 receptions. He's
I
coming
like
back.
that.
Noah Brown's out. And there, I was like tussling between him and Dalton Schultz. I feel like Dalton Schultz might be hyper targeted here. Cardinals kind of play real bad against the tight end, so I think either one's good locks. But Nico Collins is I'm bet online. It's +104 odds for 4.5 receptions. I don't know what FanDuel or DraftKings have him at, but
That's what I was about to
it's
check.
a little bit more of a stake here. If you want to go safe, I go Dalton Schultz over 4.5. But what do you guys think about that one?
So I actually I like both of those ideas. I do like Nico. I've been a big Dalton Schultz believer coming into
Yeah.
this season. Was hyper targeted last year in the red zone in Dallas, and it's starting to come into play here in Houston. Hopefully he resigns, but I also like Dalton Schultz over as well.
I would take Collins over. I think those two, Stroud and Collins, are forming a bond. Two young guys, and I think they're starting to gel well together. Me and Mike had talked about that in one of our earlier episodes. How he was got our dog tag in our show. So he's one of my guys. I've always been a big Nico Collins guy. So I would take him over.
Absolutely. Notable outs is Michael Wilson's out, Zach Pascal's out, Noah Brown is out, Damian Pierce is out, Jimmy Ward is out, and Nico Collins is back. So it's kind of the reason why I took Nico Collins.
Yeah. Do you think you're going to see another Devin Singletary game, or do you think that was an outlier performance?
And 2 weeks ago, I was talking to my buddy, and he was like, "Man, who should I start, Aaron Jones or Devin Singletary?" So when he was Damian Pierce was first out, I was like, "Man, Devin Singletary has a decent matchup. Texas can't really get anything going, but I think Singletary might be a safer play than Aaron Jones. I didn't expect CJ Stroud to throw for his 5-6 touchdowns, whatever he threw for that one game, and just not give one to Singletary. Well, I mean, Singletary, he looked real good last week coming in there, and Arizona's defense, their rush defense is 28th in the league. So I think that's a way for them. If the Texans get the ground game running, I think Singletary is going to be a pretty locked fire matchup this week.
Yeah, I am starting him in one of my leagues just because of bye weeks and stuff like that. But I do think he could be, maybe not for the performance he had, where I believe he won AFC Player of the Week, but I think he's a solid start.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. So next game on our docket here is Chargers -3 versus the Packers. Over under is at 44. 59% of the money is on the Chargers spread. 74% of the money line is on the Chargers, and then 71% is on the over. How do you guys think this game goes?
This is two very questionable teams right now. Teams, especially the Chargers, I thought were going to be a lot better, especially defensively. Like they have guys like Derwin James, Bosa. It's just not, for whatever reason, been very clean for them.
Mm-hmm.
And now they have all these injuries on offense with, Mike Williams is obviously out for the year. Gerald Everett is out. Green Bay is another big question mark on offense. The Chargers should win this game.
Mm-hmm. I was going to say that. Yeah, I think they're both, for lack of better words, they're both sloppy teams, right? So I think it's going to come down to quarterback play, and the Chargers have the better quarterback, so therefore I got to give it to the Chargers.
Yeah, I tend to agree, but I feel like that's like one of these games that Brandon Staley will fuck up again because he likes to do that as a head coach, but Packers also like to do that. They're like, oh, we'll let him be like a touchdown away, and we'll come back in the fourth quarter and beat him. And Brandon Staley's like, oh, we should let him be like a touchdown away in the fourth quarter so we could have a nice defensive stop and win the game that way. So I think this game's gonna be close, but I think Chargers do win this game outright. They should. I mean, Packers kind of struggled.
I think if they lose, I think if the Chargers lose, I think we see Brandon Staley get fired. I think that's definitely a possibility. That dude coaches football like I play Madden. Like going for it on 4th and 10 at your own 20-yard line. Like what? Like stop, dude. That's Madden stuff.
Yep. It's all analytics, man.
Yeah.
That can't even be analytics.
It's the most questionable thing ever. But man, I mean, he still has a job somehow. I mean, it's kind of like Arthur Smith. He still has a job.
Yeah.
Matt Eberflus still has a job. I mean, they just don't like firing people right away, But
True.
Yeah. So for keepable notes, Jalen Guyton's actually been ruled out, so that leaves Chargers wide receiver core down to Keenan Allen, Quentin Johnson. I think Demario Davis. What's his rookie out of TCU?
Oh yeah. Yep, the other TCU guy. Yep.
Yeah. And then I don't know who else they have. I think Donald Parham was questionable. I think he's playing though.
Yeah, he is. I believe the three of us are going to also be lining up for the Chargers wide receivers. With the way Quentin Johnson's been playing, I don't think we'd be any worse. I don't know if you guys saw the reception perception chart for him. It is god awful. I'll send it to you. The only thing he was good at was screen passes. Like, come on, dude. That's wild.
Hey, he's the master of his craft, dude.
Yeah, I mean, he figured it out. He got his first touchdown pass last week. Do you think this continues?
No. I think I don't think he's very good, to be honest with you. And Jair Alexander is probably going to be lined up with Keenan Allen for the most part, I would imagine. But I just don't see him as very good. They're going to have to use him, though, so you could be right. I don't see it.
Yeah, just with the pass catchers there, I just don't know what the Chargers' game plan is going to be. They're all banged up. Maybe they bring like a Deshaun Jackson off the street or something like that.
Oh, no.
Oh, boy. I seen T.O. still working out, so.
Oh, yeah, Des Bryant maybe might make a comeback. I know he's in the fantasy realm. I mean, shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, so what do you guys have cooking up for this game then? For parlays, or do you just kind of not really want to touch this game? Or do you guys have like a good block pick?
Well, Go ahead, Mike.
I actually do have a pretty good one. I feel pretty confident about. Aaron Jones over 24.5 receiving. Aaron Jones, when out there, has been one of the most playmaker, consistent targets for Jordan Love, especially in the passing game. So I think that continues. So yeah, that's my lock.
Jones alt receiving. Okay, I just went nice and simple and took Keenan anytime touchdown. Plus 115.
That's
Plus
sick.
115. There's no one. We just talked about it. No wide receivers out there playing, so he's got to throw it to somebody.
Yeah, I agree 100%. And I was like struggling with it. I was like, man, maybe I could do like Austin Eckler rushing because Green Bay's rush defense is pretty bad as well.
Right.
Yeah, it is.
27th best in the league right now. And man, I was like looking, I was like, I have no idea, but I kind of went with Luke Musgrave here with 2.5 receptions. I feel like the number's
That's a
pretty
good
low where they could that's a very easily managed. And I'll see Jaden Reed at 2.5. So there's like 2 right there. I feel like there's gonna be underneath stuff. I feel like they could easily get that. But yeah, you guys feel confident in your picks?
I feel pretty
yeah.
confident with Aaron Jones, to be honest with you. What do you? This is the battle of pretty two inconsistent wide receivers in Quentin Johnson and Christian Watson, who we
You
talked
leave
about
my guy alone.
off camera.
Johnson's going to turn it. He's going to turn it on eventually, man. I'm telling you.
Who do you think performs better in this game with Watson and Johnson?
Oh man.
Johnson.
This is probably the biggest question mark in the wide receiver world right now. Those 2 players.
Oh man. Dude, I mean, if Jordan Love had an arm, I would say Christian Watson. And because there's no one else out there catching balls for Chargers, I feel like Quentin Johnson's going to have a better game just for that one reason. Just out of necessity.
Yeah.
I mean, he has to, right?
You.
I mean, if not, he's going to be I feel like he could write bust all over. If he does not do anything, if he doesn't get more than 2 catches this game with like 20 yards or more,
right?
Like 20, that's like pretty. I'm setting the bar real low at 20 yards.
Right.
If he can't hit that, then I don't know what's going to happen to him.
The Jungle Gym monkey bars are right there for you. Just grab it, dude, please.
Yeah, and I was like one of the biggest haters of Quentin Johnston coming into this season. So.
Oh, I still am.
I know. We know.
and Christian Watson is probably getting there for me. As the biggest fan as I was, he's starting to become one of the most frustrating players on my fantasy or my dynasty rosters.
Yeah,
Jordan Love, like you said, though, has probably been one of the worst deep ball throwers in this league right now.
Yeah, and I think that's the biggest problem with Christian Watson. We know he drives down the field, and he's not schemed to be the underneath guy or a short routes. He's there to stretch out the field. If Jordan Love can't throw the ball down the field, it kind of hurts him way more. But so we have we have a question in the chat. He said Jonathan Reed said Flowers or Ayuk rest of the season now that Mark Andrews is out.
I would take Ayuk.
I really like Zay Flowers. I'm a big Zay Flowers believer. He hasn't really had those boom games. He's been kind of like targeted, but it just hasn't happened for him just yet. I'm going to lean Ayuk as well. Let's go to the Ravens fan here and see what he thinks.
Yeah, so one of the biggest things I've kind of seen as a Ravens fan, because, I'm watching their games constantly, is Isaiah Likely just cannot catch a football to save his life. Like, he has worse hands than Quentin Johnston, believe it or not. Like, go watch his things. Like, he can't catch a football, and he just drops a lot of balls, and it just makes me real frustrated as a Ravens fan, right? If we keep him open because he has all the talent in the world, he just hasn't been able to do anything, which kind of sucks in there. And I think Charlie Kohler is a decent roster add if you're hurting on tight end. Just kind of stash him there, see if he does anything in there. But with Zay Flowers, I mean, he would have had a big game Thursday night if Odell Beckham Jr. did not do that hold. That was I think it was like a 50, 60-yarder touchdown, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
I watched it. I was like, oh, OBJ. I was like, dude, why did he didn't even need to hold me? That was the craziest part there. So even though Flowers is way more inconsistent, I think he just has a way higher ceiling this season, especially with Mark Andrews being out there. Figure out a way to get him more involved in the offense. And I think Odell's also be a good add in there as well. If you could get him real cheap in your dynasty rosters, send a third out for him.
I actually, in one of my home leagues, somebody traded 2 fourths for Odell yesterday. So I don't think that's real bad. I don't think that's bad. He's startable. You know what I mean? Like you said, with the injuries. Isaiah Likely, like you mentioned, he's very inconsistent hands, but he gets targeted. And I think if he continues that, those targets are going to go elsewhere.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's why I'm leaning. I think Charlie Kohler is a good ad in your waiver wires because he's probably made a waiver wire. No one's going to be rostering third string tight ends in there, and I think Baltimore is another guy. I just can't think of his name right now. But Jonathan, it's 2-1. Ayuk, I'm the one that chose Flowers, but that's a little bit biased.
Yeah, if you ask any Eagles questions, we're gonna probably take them as well. So don't feel bad.
All right, next game on the docket, which you guys know these teams pretty well. Giants +9 versus the Commanders. Over-under is at 37.5. 79% of the money is on the Giants spread at 79%. And of the money line, and 79% of the Giants' money line, but 94% of the tickets are on the Commanders' money line. And 80% of the game is on the under here. So I just added the tickets in there just so we don't get thrown off. I think those people like just throw like $5 down or like $10 on the money line because it's so juiced right now. Anything could happen. It's football. Commanders like to lose games randomly for no reason. But what do you guys think here? What do you guys expect from this game here?
Well, we got the Penguin, aka Danny DeVito, out there playing quarterback for the New York Giants. So this should be this should be a blowout. Washington.
You think a blowout?
Yeah.
Okay.
That first of all, the Giants' defense is bad. The Giants' offense is worse. I do think Washington has enough firepower to put up some points, especially with Hal throwing more than like 40 times a game as he's been doing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, with that leading into that, I'm taking the over on Hal's passing at 251.5. That's at -114. Like you said, the Giants defense, the Giants team in general is atrocious, and that's great for us. I love to watch it. I love it. But I think Sam Hal goes off. Over 251, a few TDs. I'm gonna say passes for 3. I think it's gonna be a big game. That team is a nightmare, dude. They can't wait till the end of the season. They can't come fast enough for them.
I think my lock for this game is Brian Robinson anytime touchdown at -125. There's no Antonio Gibson for this game. The Giants are, like I said, bad, so I'm going to go with that.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. I was looking at Brian Robinson too. Unfortunately, Bet Online doesn't have receiving yards and rushing yards combined in there. There's nothing for me to bet on those. I can't really see the lines that well, but I feel like Brian Robinson, if you guys have the lines on FanDuel or DraftKings like that, I would smash the over. I mean, he's been involved in the receiving game.
Mm-hmm.
And he's okay at catching passes. It's weird that they have not used Antonio Gibson for it in there. And I think his receptions are at 1.5 catches, which I feel like is an easy lock as well. And then I would probably take Chris Rodriguez carries because I feel like they're just going to be kind of keeping the game on the ground here, especially because I'm guessing probably at 4.5, like 5 maybe around there.
So I was super surprised they drafted Chris Rodriguez. A little off topic because he's essentially a Brian Robinson clone, like a big bruising back. I watched a bit of him at Kentucky. It's very odd that they decided to just go clone on that one. I was a little worried for Brian Robinson coming into this season.
Yeah, 100%. But I mean, the Commanders fans love Brian Robinson, right? I mean, he had that whole entire story where he got shot, he came back, and he's looked okay. I mean, I wouldn't say he looks great by any means, but he looks like a good, competent running back that's going to have a little bit after his rookie contract, where he's going to be kind of a journeyman. I kind of expect from his career kind of arc there.
What did you want to know for Brian Robinson again? His receiving and rushing total?
Yeah. What's the combo over?
Oh, I don't see a combo on here, but I see obviously his receiving is 17.5, and his rushing is 60.5.
Yeah, so I mean,
combo here.
Yeah, I'll say I know some sports books have them, other ones don't. But yeah, I mean, I would just take the 17 receiving yards over. I mean, Sam Howell kind of he's kind of wising up with not wanting to be sacked as much anymore. His sack counter went down. I don't know what his latest one is, but I know he was at over 100, especially when I was on the show with you guys. He was over 100, projected to be sacked over 100 times. But he's getting the ball out faster now.
Mm-hmm.
I think he took like 6 or 7 sacks in the last 2 games. So that's down for him. That's good for him. That's good for Sam Howell.
Yeah. And the Washington pass rush really hasn't, or I'm sorry, the Giants pass rush lost Leonard Williams, so that's a pretty big blow for them as well. He's a very good defensive end, and they traded him to Seattle for a second and something else. I forget what it was. So yeah, it could, he could stay a little clean in this game. That's why I think it's going to be a blowout.
Yeah, absolutely. What do you guys see Sam Howell like long term value like a little bit? I know he's kind of a little polarized, and I think he's be a starter there for at least next year, coming around there. And in Superflex, I pay a first round for him. I don't know where you guys stand with Sam Howell.
I think he's starting to prove himself. I think he's starting to prove himself that he could be a legitimate quarterback. Definitely next year, but even going forward, maybe I could see him being the guy because he doesn't look bad.
He's definitely looked better, this year and more recently. I always thought of, he's progressing. I think of him as a better fantasy quarterback than I do NFL quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
I do think he's going to be the starter next year. I guess it's going to be a wait and see. I would trade a first for him, especially if I'm a contender, because he does offer you high upside. He does rush a bit. He does throw the ball 40 plus times.
Mm-hmm.
So I definitely think a first is fair value.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. And I know a lot of people, they kind of argue a little bit. I've seen on Twitter. I've seen it back and forth a little bit. But in there, and also I just want to point out that like Sam Howell on his pass attempts, like that's been a lock all season long. Like just always take the over on his attempts. I mean, this game's a little bit higher. It's 36.5, so I think Sportsbook's catching up a little bit. And I feel like this game could be a blowout real quick, and they're not going to throw the ball obviously as much. It's a blowout. But even like the pass completions. So just something to keep an eye on going forward. Remember that in the back of your mind when you're betting. But the next game on the docket here is Titans plus 6.5 versus the Jaguars. Over-unders at 39.5. 52% of the money is on the Titans spread. 83% is on the Jaguars money line, and 63% is on the over. How do you guys feel about this game going forward?
This should be a Jags win.
Mm-hmm.
They just got smacked in the mouth by San Francisco. But for my bet in this, let me double check. I can't pull it up. I have Will Levis's over 212.5 passing yards.
I'm laughing because I have it written down. I have him under 212.5.
Really? Okay. I mean, that's it could go either way, but the Jags are 30th against the pass. Yeah. He has thrown over 212 in 2 of his 3 games. He was 199 last week, so a little under. But I definitely think it's a possibility he could hit that 212 mark, 213 technically.
Mm-hmm.
And Rich, man, what do you think they're going under?
What's that?
Why do you think he's going under on his passing yards here?
I'm just not a big Levis guy yet. I know Mike's fully bought in, fully committed. I mean, he's shown bright spots, but I'm not ready to, say, he's the greatest thing, since Joe Montana. Like
he doesn't have to be. Okay, hold on. He doesn't have to be the greatest thing in the world to throw up 212. All right.
Hey, we'll see. We'll see. By 4:00 today, we'll see.
I'll be at the Bills game for that one, so I won't know what's happening. I'll probably just get my phone blown up one way or the other. No, actually, Rich goes real quiet when he's wrong. But when he's right, I get 36 text messages.
No, dude. I've been wrong a lot. You did. Check it out.
Yeah, but I don't hear from you. I don't hear from you when that happens. I have to message you.
I'm at home and I'm like, motherfucker, man. Like, God damn it, Calvin Ridley. Why couldn't you be a top 5 like I said at the beginning of the year?
Oh, man. And
I took that minus 6.5 as well.
All right, so you think the Jaguars bounce back here? It has to be, right? I mean,
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
This is like their playoff. I wouldn't say that they're gonna be out of the playoffs. If they do not win this game here, but it's gonna be close.
Yeah,
Houston's catching up, man. It's scary hours in Jacksonville right now.
That's surprising, dude. That's so surprising from when we thought in the beginning of the season till, right now, Houston's gaining ground. We thought Houston was going to win a handful of games.
We thought they definitely looked better. I definitely didn't see this kind of momentum that they've had.
Yeah, and they have the Browns first next year as well, so that's something to keep an eye on, especially if the Browns are going down, keep tanking a little bit more.
Who has the Jags or Houston?
Texans, sorry.
Okay.
Wow.
So, we'll see what happens with that one. They don't have their first next year because they traded Cardinals for Will
yeah,
Anderson. But
Great move, by the way. I know a lot of people hated that, but I love Will Anderson.
yeah, absolutely. But so if you guys, when you guys have to drop, I feel like we have to determine what's more likely here. Like, Will Levis going over on his passing yards, or he's going under? Because we can't have this all comboed in the same parlay here. So who's gonna?
I'm not
I'll
backing down.
fine. You take it, and I'll take the Jags -6.5.
All right.
There we
fair
go.
enough.
Written down. You can fine. Have your. I know. Have your day with him. I know. But when he
What
goes
do you
under
think,
12,
What do you think,
Rich-
Wiz? What do you?
Oh, I was gonna say this might upset Rich a little bit here, but I'm going over on Will Levis's pass attempts.
Oh yeah,
At
there we go.
2.5. The last 2 games he's passed 39 times. So I feel like this game's gonna be a little bit closer. So I think Titans are gonna want to throw the ball more, which they should be running the football more, but they're gonna throw it. And I think Traylon Burks is playing as well this week, so that helps out Will Levis back a little bit more.
I think he's out again.
Oh, is he out? I said I didn't see it on
I
the
think so. I'll
injury
have to
report.
double check. I'll double check that one for you. I had it written down, but I don't know where it went. I did like Tajay Spears's receptions over as well. I think it was
I'm guessing it's probably
3.
2.5.
Yeah, I think it was 2.5 or 3.5. I can't remember exactly. But let me look up that Burks thing for you. I'm like 90% sure he is out. But
All right. Well, while you're looking that up here, we have a question from Maverick here. He said, Rashee Rice or Hollywood Brown this week, PPR. And he also said start 2, Waddle, Rashee Rice, or Hollywood Brown.
so Traylon Burks is inactive.
Okay.
I'm seeing that on Twitter.
I'm
So it was
taking
Rashee
I'm
Rice
taking Hollywood
and
Brown.
Hollywood.
Yeah.
I'm taking Hollywood Brown, and then would you start Waddle or Rice?
Waddle.
Yeah.
I'm going Waddle, man. So I actually like in one of my my redraft leagues, I have Hollywood Brown and Waddle starting. So I'm praying that's who I'm going with, Maverick. So let's see how it goes. Like we said, I think Kyler Murray's going to come out and sling the ball, and I think Hollywood Brown's going to be on the other end of it. So
Yeah, I mean this Raiders defense has come back a little bit. It's not great, but it's starting to pick up a little bit of steam here since Josh McDaniels got out of there. So Waddle could be a decent start, but I also like Rashee Rice a lot, to be honest with you, this week. The Eagles' pass defense has been bad, and he has solidified himself, in my opinion, as the number 2 option for Patrick Mahomes, obviously outside of Travis Kelce. I tend to agree, though. I would lean Hollywood and Waddle as opposed to Rice, but I don't think you could go wrong with Rice over Waddle, though.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, Waddle's been a little bit of a frustrating kind of player, and he's not really performed the way or especially where we drafted him at in redraft, and what we've been paying for him in Dynasty this year. But I still think he's an elite option in that offense. That offense is an elite option, and they're playing against an okay defense. The Raiders are they're nothing really to write home about, but they have been playing better football, like you said, Mike. But I think Waddle, I mean, you just have to start him each week, and hopefully that this Dolphins offense shows up and plays the way they can.
I'll never go against starting your studs.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's what it comes down to. And I would also start Hollywood Brown here. I think Hollywood Brown, we've seen last year with Kyler, he was just hyper targeting him, and Michael Wilson being out. I think this is just a big game for Trey McBride and Hollywood Brown here. So, and maybe even James Conner might see some good fantasy points too. Hopefully, I have him starting a few leagues. So,
that's a good one, because I think the other running back, I can't remember. I'm blanking on his name.
DeMonaco or something like that. It's like
he's out too.
Yeah, he's out. So that leaves Keontae Ingram, and he just brought Michael Carter too.
I was gonna say they picked up Michael Carter. Yeah.
Oh, that's a good. I didn't see that. That's a good one. I like that.
That was kind of a surprising move by the Jets.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting him to be dropped, but hey, that's what happens, I guess. But so the next game here on the docket here is Raiders plus 14 versus the Dolphins. Over under is at 46%. 92% of the money is on the Dolphin spread. 99% of the money is on the Dolphins money line, which is a little surprising. And then
minus
89% of the money's on the unders, and 58% of the tickets are on the overs. How do you guys see this game kind of playing out here? You guys agree with, I guess, the overwhelming majority that Dolphins win the spread?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I would say yeah.
Oh yeah.
I think the Raiders are going to look better, but I don't think they have enough to keep up with
No, I
Miami.
agree. I'm taking them minus 14, and I'm also taking Achain to start to get a touchdown at plus 135. He's this is what is his first game back since from the IR.
Yeah,
So
this is
he's going to
number
be,
one.
and
Yeah.
I mean, like you said, the Raiders defense is looking good, but that offense is something else. It's a high-powered offense. I think he can either receiving touchdown or rushing, but either way, I think he finds the end zone.
Yeah, he's a good one to, essentially it could happen at any point in the game.
Mhm.
He could take a inside run 60 yards. He could take a screen pass 85 yards. It could happen at any point. This one might come as a little bit of a surprise. I like Michael Mayer's over receptions at 2.5. He had a nice game last week. I believe it was just 3 receptions for a touchdown. But the Dolphins have given up 5+ receptions to the tight end average and have had more than 3 in all but one. So I think this is a good shot to hit for his reception total.
Okay.
Yeah, I can see it. I've been a little bit lower on Michael Mayer, and I guess Mike. I mean, I don't know how much you love Michael Mayer or not. If this is one of your beloved, I know you have a dog Kincaid. That was my boy coming in this class. But how do you? I guess out of like the 4 top tight ends, right? So you have Musgrave, Laporta, Kincaid, and Mayer. Which one do you think is going to be more than likely a bust out of those 4?
So it's going to be, believe it or not, I don't see as any of them as busts, in my opinion. I think they could all 4 of them, and this could be hot take-ish, could be in our top 12, top 10 dynasty tight ends in the next few years because we're going to see the older guards start to phase out. I think they're all very solid options. One I'm the most concerned of, and I was one of the highest ons coming into the draft, is Luke Musgrave because of the injuries. He's been banged up quite a few times. He was banged up in college. It just, it's unfortunate. It's mostly a lot of concussions so far.
And that's not good, especially for a young guy in a very young career. His rookie year, that's not looking good.
I comped Luke Musgrave to Dallas Goedert. They have a lot of the same measurables.
Mm-hmm.
So I was high on him. I'm just a little, like I said, a little concerned about the injuries. I thought Michael Mayer, it could take him a little bit of time. I thought he was the most pro-ready tight end of the class because of his ability to block, his ability to get downfield. It just might have taken him more time.
Do you think that could be attributed? Do you think that could be for Mayer? Do you think it could be the whole quarterback situation?
So I actually liked him going to Vegas in the first place because I thought like guys like Jimmy G and McDaniels who have had successful tight ends in their career, I thought that was a good spot for him. It just didn't work out that way so far.
Right.
But I do think he is going to start picking it up. This is usually when we see rookie tight ends. The second half of the season, second year is when they start really getting targeted more and producing better. But I am high on Laporta and Kincaid. I have Kincaid still over Laporta, but I think we are going to see the 4 of them in our top 10, top 12. I don't know if that's a hot take-ish to you, Wiz, but what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, Michael Mayer was the talk of the town coming into like the rookie drafts, coming into that season, right? I mean, before everything kind of shaked out, and like watching Kincaid's tape, I was like, man, I see everything there. And then when he got the Bills landing spot, I was like, oh, that's it, right? I mean, in that elite offense there, I thought it was just anything could happen there for him. But out of everyone there, I just thought that Mayer was like the one that's going to be hurt the most, right? I mean, the Raiders offense, organization just in general was kind of not look the best, not being run smoothly the way that we should. I feel comfortable investing in a dynasty's perspective or a redraft perspective. So that was kind of a little bit alarming for me, and that was like biggest thing. And I think Musgrave going forward is going to come down to can Jordan Love put the pieces together, or are the Packers going to add a different quarterback there if Jordan Love's not going to be the answer, and how fast is that going to switch around for him in there? So I think Musgrave has a higher upside than Mayer, but I think Mayer might be a safer option long term. That I think Mayer could be like an Austin Hooper where he just keeps bouncing around, like a Jonnu Smith where he just keeps bouncing around each team because he knows he's a real smart football IQ. He reminded me a lot of like a Dalton Schultz where he's just not very athletic, but he's just kind of a smart football player where he knows where he needs to be in the zones to make a play. And for me, I don't like those kind of tight ends because they're not flashy, right? I'm going for the pace. I'm going for like the athletic, fun guys that I want to watch play. So that was like my whole thing with Michael Mayer.
Yeah, like I said, I can't disagree with that. It's been a slow start for him, and I like all you said. It's because mostly he's not the flashy guy. I do like that Dalton Schultz comp you threw there, though. That could lead a very solid fantasy career for him, though.
Well, for my dynasty my dynasty league, I hope for that sake, I hope so, because I got him. I took him late, but I kind of waited back on the tight end position and took him thinking he's going to be something, and hasn't really turned out for me yet.
One more question on Musgrave, real quick, if you don't mind. Were you concerned at all when they went back-to-back tight ends in that draft?
For me, I thought it was more
very confusing.
Yeah, well, the Packers have always kind of drafted weirdly, right? I mean, when Aaron Rodgers had no one to throw the football to, they took Jordan Love, his replacement. They had him right there. And I was like, that was weird, right?
Yeah.
I figured who was on the board then. You guys, I forget what draft class that was, but I know that they passed up on a real good wide receiver. I can't remember.
Wide receiver, yeah. I'm blanking too. I know who you're talking about. I'll look that up, that draft class. Hold on.
Yeah. But so with that, I mean, when I took Musgrave in the drafts and I saw a third rounder, or like a fourth round even, like I would take Tucker Kraft just to like back him up with, right? I mean, I looked at it as I was like, maybe this is a Hayden Hurst, like Mark Andrews type thing where they draft his replacement right behind him, and Tucker Kraft's been the guy to hold on to, which I thought Tucker Kraft looked okay coming out of college in there. I also liked Zach Kuntz, but he didn't get the draft capital. He went to the Jets, which we know now with Aaron Rodgers being out, that's just not a good place to be right now for any pass catchers. But
so Brandon Ayuk went right before Jordan Love, and then after Jordan Love in the second round. So Jordan Love was like towards the end of the first round. After him in the second round,
he went
T.
26.
Higgins and Michael Pittman.
Oh, I think it was Michael Pittman. Yeah, that a lot of Packers fans wanted. Which I mean,
that would have been real good for them to have a guy like Michael Pittman.
Yeah, they could have maybe had Aaron Rodgers retire as a Packer there if they would have done that. But for my leg here of the parlay, which I'm sorry guys, this probably will not cash, but it's just too enticing for me not to take it. I'm taking the under on Aiden O'Connell's rushing yards at 3.5.
Okay.
It's a real low number, and he's only hit 3 yards rushing in all of his NFL games this season. And it's at plus 100 odds. So I saw that there, and I was like, I have to take it. Like, it might not hit, but
that's good money there. That's good value there.
Yeah, I think that's pretty decent.
Yeah, and also Tua is there at 4.5, but Tua has hit that number so far this season, and I just don't think Aiden O'Connell could really get too many yards if he's running out of the pocket. And that was my whole logic behind it there. So
I like that one.
Yeah.
All right. Next game on the docket here is Cowboys minus 10.5 versus the Panthers. Over-unders at 42.5. 77% of the money is on the Panthers spread. 72% of the tickets are on the Cowboys spread. 72% of the money is on them boys. And 59% of the money is on the under. How do you guys feel about this game going forward? Do you guys think it's going to be a blowout, or do you think Panthers are going to keep it close in that spread?
I honestly think Dallas has struggled against teams that are weaker than them away. We saw them lose to Arizona in Arizona. I think Carolina has a pretty decent pass defense. I believe J.C. Horn is coming back. He's a very talented corner. I think Carolina could keep it close. I do think Dallas wins. I do have Tony Pollard's over in receiving yards at 18.5. I like that number. Carolina's average is giving up over 25 receiving yards to the running back position. So I think that's a pretty decent chance to hit.
Yeah, like I unfortunately see the Cowboys winning this game. I think I think it's going to be closer than we think. Like you said, Mike, they lose a bad team, so I think Panthers got a shot at being in there. But for as far as the leg goes, I'm taking CD Lamb over at 83.5. That's at minus 114. He's been on a tear recently, and he doesn't show any signs of slowing down. Um, of course, after I trade him, he blows up. But he's I think he's going to go over 83.5. You could see a 100 yard game here. I think that's leaning towards that.
Yeah,
Leaning towards 100.
I think that could definitely happen.
You guys think he what was the record? It was 130 yards and over how many catches? 10 catches? What was the record he
Yeah.
set?
Yeah, it's something crazy like that. He's got
Right.
yeah. I think that I listened to a podcast yesterday. They were talking about it. I think you're right, Wiz. I think that you hit the number on the head. Between him and AJ Brown, it's just been so fun to see both of those wide receivers breaking these records. Recently, AJ Brown had 6 straight of 125. Now Lamb is starting to do the same thing. It's just fun. I think those two are a lot closer to Chase and Jefferson than I think we thought coming into this season.
Yeah.
And it's fun to see. It's frustrating because Lamb's on the Cowboys, but still.
Right.
Yeah, I was gonna say, and with Chase struggling the way he kind of has, right? I mean, it's not necessarily his fault with Burrow kind of suffering his calf injury to begin the season. Now Burrow's out. How do you guys feel, I guess, long term, right, for Chase's value? Do you think it's time to put him in the same tier as CD Lamb and AJ Brown, or are you guys still putting him in a separate tier just behind JJ?
I think it's fair to say that Lamb and Brown have entered the Chase tier. Just with the way they've been playing, just with the quarterback play that they've both had. Jalen Hurts is obviously going to be the Eagles quarterback for a while. We don't know about Dak, but Dak has trusted CeeDee Lamb, so we see that connection. With Burrow, he's been banged up, man, in his career. I always thought that, Chase and Jefferson were close because we didn't know what Jefferson was going to have a quarterback, and now, we knew that Burrow was going to be the quarterback for Cincinnati. But if he can't stay healthy, does that hurt a little bit? And like I said, I think it's fair to say Brown and Lamb have entered that Chase category.
Yeah, I 100% agree with that. I mean, in there, I remember when I was on your guys' show, you guys asked me it was AJ Brown or CD Lamb, and I feel like now, without a question, I mean, you have to have CD Lamb ahead of AJ Brown, especially for dynasty purposes. I forgot what I said on the show. I think I might have went AJ Brown because AJ Brown was just lining it up. But we've seen now like the true ceiling of CD Lamb where he could put up these elite numbers now. And it's like almost like he's putting up the numbers that we expect of like a Tyreek Hill now and like a JJ, where he's putting up those numbers the last 3 weeks. AJ Brown is too, but I mean, CeeDee Lamb has youth and age on his side.
It's 2 years difference, though.
2 years is a long time. That's 2 seasons worth.
Yeah, but he also came. AJ Brown came from Tennessee to Philadelphia, so he's brand new to us. He's still a pup here. You know what I mean? I do. 3A and 3B for those two, you can't really go wrong. I do think there is some recency bias to Lamb jumping Brown. Brown had a bye last week, and then the week before didn't have a 125-yard game, but he still had a touchdown. So I do think there is some recency creeping up, but again, I can't fault you for 3A, 3B. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you're lucky to get any 3 of those guys if you're on the clock in the draft. But I think if I'm on the clock, I'm going to be taking CeeDee Lamb over AJ Brown. But it's just, I mean, like I said, it's just all in that same tier. Like I'm not paying anything extra to go up from AJ Brown to CeeDee Lamb right now. Maybe in like 5 years from now, I'll pay like a first to go up to CeeDee Lamb. But I mean, that's because it's gonna be age more instead of production wise. But for my pick here, I'm going to be going with Bryce Young over on his attempts, which is at 33.5. I feel like Panthers going to be playing a little bit behind here, and there's going to be a lot of garbage time football, kind of what we saw with Tommy DeVito last week, where he just did nothing until garbage time football came around. He saved his fantasy day. for anyone that had to start him, which I'm sorry you have to start him. But I mean, the most attempts he's had all season is 41, but the last 3 weeks, or I guess the last 5 weeks now, he had 41, 38, 31, 39, 38, and numbers set at 33 and a half. So I just feel like it's a clear over on that one.
So yeah, like you said, with the over with the attempts is definitely the play in my opinion. Not only is the defense good on Dallas, the Carolina Panthers cannot run the ball to save their lives right now with Hubbard or Sanders. So it is going to depend on Bryce to throw a lot to keep them even relatively close.
Mike, what was your pick again? You said it was Pollard over on receiving?
Yeah, Pollard over. Yeah, 18 and a half.
18 and a half. Yeah,
I think
like
that's
that
a safe
one.
number.
And I think Rico Dowell is out. I know he was questionable coming in there. I know he has setback in Saturday's walkthrough practice. So
he's more of their
expected not to
pounder
play.
anyway. He's more of their
Right.
pounder anyway.
Right. So next game on the list is the Bucks plus 13 versus the 49ers. Over-unders at 41. 56% of the money is on the Bucks spread. 80% of the tickets is on the Niners spread. 71% of the money is on the Niners money line. And 60% of the cash is on the under here. How do you guys see this game going?
A bloodbath. I think the 49ers are going to destroy him, honestly. Yeah, what are they? Let me see. The money line was plus 570 on here. Yeah, I'm definitely. I don't know. It's kind of like a stay away for me, but I want to see what Ayuk's yards are. Brandon Ayuk over 68 and a half. Yeah, over 68 and a half seems about right for him. I'm taking the over. Just like we picked earlier today or earlier, Ayuk over Flowers. I'm taking that. I'm taking his over.
Yeah,
I like
I
that.
thought about taking his over as well.
Mhm.
I had that written down and I changed it, but I like that as well.
Yeah, I was saying I've been kind of a guy all season long where I've been taking the over on the attempts, especially rushing yard or rushing attempts or passing attempts. And I think Baker Mayfield over 35 and a half. I know he slings the ball around him. Let me pull up his last couple games here. But he loves to throw the ball. And that offense is just made to pass first over running. Rashad White's proving he can't really get a ground game going other than when he gets the dump off passes or screen passes coming out of the backfield in there, which has been a surprise to me. I know he was a capable pass catcher coming in the season, but I just didn't think he would get the volume that we're seeing. Let's see. Baker's last 5 games is 37, 42, 42, 30, and 29, which I'm surprised he only threw 30 times against the Texans. So I feel like maybe 35 is a little high, even against the Niners.
I think so too. I think that's a little high.
Yeah, we'll take the under then. We'll take the under 35.
I have Ayuk anytime TD as my play. I think that was plus 165. I forgot to write that down too. I also flirted with, you mentioned him, so I'm going to mention it. Rashad White's receptions at 4.5. I do think that Baker is going to have to duff off to him occasionally. He has gone over 5 in 4 games this season. So back in our one episode, we were talking about the NFC South. I had White as my dog tag because of Baker Mayfield's, want to check down to the running back. And for the past 2 seasons, he was a quarterback who targeted the running back pretty heavily. So I thought White was a good buy this season. And like you said, he hasn't really been the rusher that we had hoped for. So I do kind of like the 4.5. It's that pass rush for San Francisco was no joke, especially adding Chase Young. So I do think there are going to be times Baker is going to have to just heave one somewhere to somebody, and I think Rashad White could be a good 4.5 play.
Yeah, I mean, the biggest thing that scares me about, I guess, that 4.5 play is that, Bobby Wagner is so good. And, he usually plays more deep down the field, but Bosa is he's just all over the field, and I just don't know what Baker's going to do. If I see Chase Young, Bosa, Armstead coming at me, dude, I'm not holding that football. We're handing it off. I'm not caring. I'm getting off the field in 4 downs. I'm not being hit by any of those guys.
Yep.
I don't know about how you guys feel about that, but man, I'm scared.
Yeah, I would be questionable for that game. I don't think I'd be out there. I think my throwing shoulder hurts a little bit.
Yeah.
Somebody's gonna have to jump in for me.
Yeah, just close your hand on the car door, head into the
Yeah,
game.
right.
Like, I can't play, guys. Oh man,
Yeah,
you guys see the video of Quentin Williams? I forget what corner it was. But it was a run play, and Quentin Williams was going out the block, and this corner literally took himself out of the game. He's like, I'm not having anything to do with that.
Oh yeah, I have seen something. Yeah, I've seen that. Yeah, he's a
he's
scary dude too, though.
Mhm.
Dude, he's so good. And so I guess with the 49ers, right? I mean, do you guys still think they are? I mean, you guys are NFC guys, right? You're Eagles fans. Are you guys still? I guess who are you most worried about now in the NFC? Are you still worried most about the Niners, or are you more worried about the Cowboys? Or
It's the Niners for me.
I'm going with the Cowboys.
That's
I think that I mean they're playing really well right now. As much as it pains me to say it, but they're playing really well, and they're I mean I feel like they're ascending, so that's not good.
yeah, the biggest thing is like the Niners lost those 3 games in a row. It seems like one of their playmakers went out, right? I mean, Debo was out missing time. Quinn Williams missing times, and after that, their offense kind of fell apart.
Mm-hmm.
And against the NFC game, Brock Purdy went out, which I mean, it's real tough to win a playoff game when you have when you're on your, I guess it would have been a 4th-string quarterback at that point.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, just the Niners, if they stay healthy, you think I mean, Mike, you agreed they are the team to beat, but you think I mean, Niners own the Cowboys in the playoffs, which I love to see. I hate the Cowboys, which you guys love to see that too. But I mean,
yeah.
Like I guess my biggest question is like, do you think the 49ers are frauds still, or do you think they've proven themselves enough now where they could be a dominant team?
I wouldn't necessarily call them frauds. I would say they're kind of like an injury away, because we see them when every year they always seem to be the team that gets so banged up leading up to the playoffs that they're always like, oh, if we had X player, we would have won, or we would have did this, they're the we would have champions. But when they are healthy, they are a very dominant team. I can't deny it. You know what I mean? So to me, as long as they're healthy, they are the number 2 in the NFC. And they are starting to get healthy, like you mentioned. Debo's back, Trent Williams is back. Christian McCaffrey's been healthy. So it's they're not as good as us, but they're 2. And I say us like I'm going to be dressing on Monday night, but the Eagles.
I mean, hey, just keep that phone by you. You might get that call. All right, so we're coming a little bit closer on time, so we'll kind of just speed run through the rest of these. I'll read them off, and you guys just tell me who do you like more on the side of for the spreads, or if you like the money lines, or if you're just not touching this game. But we have the Seahawks plus 1.5 against the Rams, and this is going to be in LA. Over-unders at 46.5.
See, this game for me is a stay away for me. The Seahawks are given 1.5. I think that tells you it's going to be a really close game. It's going to be a shootout. So I'm hands off on this game.
Yeah, I was a little weary of this game as well. For my play, I had Puka over 5.5 receptions with Matthew Stafford. I do think the Rams win this one.
Okay. Yeah, I think this is a kind of a stay away game as well. I think Rams, they're missing a lot of pieces on their team, and they're not going to have it this season, right? I mean, I don't think Kyrie Williams is an elite guy whatsoever, but I think him not being on the field hurts the Rams a lot. It just lost a lot of their offensive identity in there, and I think he's a real good buy in Dynasty if you still have your trade window. I know a lot of trade deadlines are going off right now.
Yep.
I traded for him recently, right before his injury. Unfortunately, it just so happened that.
Oh.
Yeah, I drafted him, so I got him
traded.
stashed.
I traded Treylon Burks in a late second.
Ooh. Yeah, I mean Treylon Burks is not doing him any favors either since he's out. So, all right, and then we have the Jets versus the Bills here. Jets are plus 7. Over/unders at 39. Here, Mike, you're gonna be at the game here, and you're repping the Bills. Do you think the Bills clear the spread here, or do you think it's gonna be a closer game?
I think the Bills Yeah, I think the Bills win, and I think I think they get the spread. I will say some of their fans are a little concerned. When I was getting this jersey last night, I was telling them that I'm here from Philly visiting, wanted to go to a game, and they were like, "Oh, sorry you had to come when our team sucks." I was like, "You guys are 5-5. You really aren't that bad." But
Right.
they're concerned, so we'll see.
I think after last week's debacle, I think they blow out the Jets. I took them -8.5. So yeah, I think it's gonna be a good game for you to watch, Mike.
Yeah, I 100% agree, and I'm excited to see Donkey K just really ball out again this week. And
Zach
then we
Ertz
have
2.0, baby.
you said what?
Zach Ertz 2.0.
Oh, Zach
Better
Ertz
yak.
2.0. I thought I heard
Yep.
Travis Kelce 2.0, but
Oh, yeah, that's good too. Yeah, I'll take either one of those in
oh,
college.
I was like, I don't think Zach Ertz is ever that good. I think he's just a product of his situation there. But
Whoa, easy,
Hey,
easy,
yo.
easy. I cried when he left.
And then we have the last game for Sunday Night Football here. We have a good game, real good game. Minnesota Vikings +2.5 versus the Denver Broncos, and JJ is gonna be out. Alexander Madison is expected to clear concussion protocol, but that's from the coach, so it's a little optimist. How do you guys feel about this game going?
I'm taking the Vikings.
I am against you on this one. I'm
Yeah.
taking the Broncos. What a complete 180 this
Yeah.
team has made the past several weeks. I think Sean Payton really has gotten in this team's ass a little bit. So I like the Broncos in this, and I like Cortland Sutton over 49.5.
Okay. See, I'm taking the Vikings. I took Dobbs over 30.5 rushing. So I think he's been phenomenal. He's a great story. I think his rushing yards, he's going to rush. He runs all over the field and looks amazing doing it. So
Yeah. You know what's crazy enough? I was like going through like my bets and stuff like that, and I was like trying to make some last minute anytime touchdown. And I had Ty Chandler on there, and then it wouldn't go through because the game's just started.
Mm-hmm.
And that was the week he scored his touchdown, his first touchdown.
Oh,
damn. Yeah.
But I think Ty Chandler gets more involved in that offense. I think what's his Vikings head coach's name? I forget his name.
Kevin O'Connell.
Yeah.
Kevin O'Connell. Yeah. He said last week he wanted to get more involved in the game, and with that being said, I mean, it showed that it helped Alexander Madison going out with the concussion, helped him to propel him up there. I don't think he's an elite guy at any means, but I think it's a guy that could help the Vikings make that playoff push. I don't think he's gonna. I think they're gonna be a wild card team at best. I don't think they're gonna do anything special, but I think Ty Chandler could be a guy that might win people some leagues, especially if Alexander Madison just continues not to perform the way I guess a lot of people drafted him and anticipate him to perform. Which might be a little bit hot take, but I think if Ty Chandler performs well, it's still going to be close to a 50-50 split. So he's going to be taking touches. It's going to hurt both of them, but I think he could be a guy that's going to get the goal line work over Alexander Madison. So that's kind of my hot
100.
take.
Well, that's not a hot take to me, buddy. I
Yeah.
have been a Alexander Madison non-believer since the beginning of the season.
Yeah, as soon as they said, Chandler was going to get more involved, I think that was almost a death sentence for guys who have rostered Madison. Not looking good for him. He hasn't really proven it. He was given the opportunity, but hasn't proven that he's the guy. So
yeah, exactly, and I think that's what it comes down to. And then with that being said, I'm going to take Ty Chandler. I'm not going to miss on this one. Anytime touchdown scorer. Broncos are the worst defense against the run this season, and I feel like this has to be it. This is redemption here. They're going to let me. They're going to take my money and give me back some money in exchange for picking that one correct.
There you go.
In there. But also, I forgot what I was going to say. Shit. I was like talking, and I was like thinking about it, and I was like, oh, yeah, I'm going to say that next, and I totally forgot all about it.
Happens to me all the time. Usually I'm not even saying anything, and I forget what I'm saying.
But
I do like that, though. I do like that. I do think even if Madison plays, he might not even still be 100%, and we know that Chandler could possibly be more involved, so I like it.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I appreciate you guys. If you want to tell everyone your socials and where they can find you at.
So we're on X or Twitter, whatever you want to call it. I'm at Dynasty Dog Rich. You can also follow our other podcasts at Public Transportation Pod on X or Twitter. And yeah, go ahead, Mike.
Yeah, and you can find me at Dynasty Dog Mike, and you can find us on Win Daily as well. You can follow Win Daily at Win Daily Sports on X or Twitter or whatever Rich is saying. So
Whatever we're calling it. I seen it today. It was like
MySpace.
Twitter/X. I'm like, I don't know what the hell to call it now.
Yeah, I keep
Just
getting
go back
email
to
notifications after I tweet or something like that. They're like, formerly known as Twitter X.
Yeah.
I'm like,
MySpace.
what?
What is this, Prince? Like the artist formerly known
formerly
as?
known
What's
as.
happening?
Exactly. But I appreciate everyone tuning in. Hopefully you guys took our parlays, and this is a new segment we're trying to do, seeing if it works out. If we make money, we might do it again next week. Hopefully everyone's fantasy days turn into wins or losses. I mean, depends on what you're trying to do. If you're trying to tank or not. Class for Caleb. But I mean, so thank you guys again for coming on. I appreciate you guys giving some time.
Absolutely, man. I loved it. Got to do it again.
Yeah, love it. Good times.
All right. Until next week, guys. Catch you guys later. Adios.